Hey, good evening, we bullers and investors. Today, we're going to talk about how to properly time long positions and short positions. And we're also going to discuss the MACD or moving average convergence and divergence indicator. We have already covered the KDJ, not extremely in depth, but enough, I think, for most people to get the hang of. What I got pulled up here is CTXR. This is something I was looking at today. It did pretty well. And I'm constantly looking at some of these comment sections, and people are asking, hey, what's this going to do tomorrow? What's it going to do the next week? I think where I went wrong with several of my earlier trades was that I didn't know enough about the macro picture. If you're looking at a 1 minute chart, things go so quickly, and they can slip away from you before you even realize it. And even as a day trader, kind of knowing what phase the stock you're trading, what phase it's in, is extremely important. And if you don't know that, you're kind of at a really big disadvantage. Now, what I have pulled up is a macro picture, and each one of these candlesticks represents a full week of trading. Now, this is a lot of trading. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of solid uptrend. This goes all the way back to December. That's quite a long time. So let's just say you're trading a stock. I mean, you can see what happened today. We had this pretty good sized bar. If you will go all the way back here to where this trend first started, this nice little green run. If you really want to zoom out, you look at the whole macro picture. You're like, geez, this thing has been losing since I don't know how long. Well, it'd be a great opportunity to short if you caught this at 37.50. But let's say you think it's going to do well in the near term. You want to trade it. One thing to know about a MACD crossover is typically once a stock, if you look all the way to the lower left-hand corner, once it has its run where the green line is fairly consistently above the yellow signal line, and it starts its descent, if it drops below this flat, imaginary, what I call a neutral line, it's going to be consistently losing money so long as it stays below that. I mean, it's not going to rebuild. And if you see, this has followed that pattern. But that's not to say that it's not tradable in a long position. What you can do is you can look for these crossovers again. I'll zoom up a little bit. Our KDJ, we covered that. If you look at consistent rising KDJ numbers, 9 was about the lowest, 8, 9 is, okay, it's on the rise. You just crossed over. Your J, fast moving line, moved over your slow moving line. That's pretty solid indicator. Your DMA line also had a divergence. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you look at this MACD crossover, you've got a green crossover your yellow signal line. Even though they're not above your neutral line, you can still trade this long. We'll go back here to about 12.6 is where this looks like it started, thereabouts. We'll zoom out. 12.6, nope. 12.13, so December 13th. If I were trading this, and now that I know this, I didn't always know this. Once we see a divergence, we got a small little candlestick. The very next one, you have a confirmation. If you were still unsure, you could wait one more. This is 3 weeks. 3 weeks into this. If you take this entire section here and you look at it, even if you get to the second bar, now you're putting the odds in your favor that if you're on a stretch, any given day, the odds are now in your favor that you can go micro or somewhat micro. We'll go back here, 12.6. Shrink this down. I hope you guys had luck today. I was out of trades. Okay, here we are. We're on a fairly micro. We're still on 30 minute. Each one of these candles now represents 30 minutes. Now, as I was saying before, if each one of those candles on the macro represents a full week of trading, you just increased your odds on any given day trade day that by the start and finish of a day, you have gained from your opening to your closing, right? So I can't stress enough how important it is that even on a consistently losing bear stock, is what I would call that, short stock, you can catch these upswings, but I think if you try to catch an upswing on too micro of a time chart, you're going to end up holding a bag, because you could have, a good week-long upswing followed by like months of downswing. So you're going to be holding this forever and losing money, or you're going to have to give it up and try to trade something else. Now, you'll also see here that on a fairly micro level, your odds of just throwing a dart and going, okay, I'm going long on this, are really good because you caught the upswing on the macro picture. And say you were only in it for a day. Well, if you're on a smaller time frame, you can pick an open and then follow it. And the moment you cross back over your MACD, right, or you have a shrinking KDJ number in that day, 80, 79, 77, it's starting to go down, it's time to sell. You got crossovers, you got a shrinking delta number on your KDJ. This is how you're going to be able to time your trades. Find that consistent macro picture, 1 bar, 2 bars. Now you're on a stretch and you can zoom in a little bit and make a safe trade that day. I hope this made a little bit of sense today. Things are getting more and more clear to me and how to time a trade, how to get out of a trade. If we're on a small little brief upswing where you got like 1 green bar on a day chart, you're risking it. You're risking that little brief upswing for a long downswing. I mean, if you're trading on a downside of a stock that's been losing money forever. Conversely, if you're on a stock that has been consistently winning, Apple, Microsoft, some of the big cap companies that have done really well, that also doesn't mean that you cannot use the same method to short that very stock. But you're going to have to look at the macro picture. You're going to have to look at least a candlestick or two for a consistent, week long of down, second week long of down. You can catch it on the first week, but you want to increase your odds depending on your strategy. I hope this makes a little bit of sense. If you guys have any other questions after this, you can hit me up on Webull or leave messages here. But please focus on the macro first so you know what phase the stock is in that you're currently trying to trade. And that's where I've screwed up until now. We'll see how it goes, and I hope you guys have good luck tomorrow and in the following week. And we'll try to make some more technical videos. I might redo this one and dress it up later, make it a little more presentable, but I think this made a lot of sense, or hope it did. Good luck, guys.